It's the melanin for me. Melanin at sea. It's the melanin for me. It was so beautiful and it was so amazing. And I said, to me, that was like a God moment, you know, like a moment where you say, you look and you see, wow, like God really created this earth and it is freaking beautiful. And I'm just so blessed to be able to see it. I'm gonna say everything wasn't amazing. Okay, the one thing I feel like it's realistic to have something that you feel negative about. Melanin at sea, it's the melanin for me. Melanin at sea. Okay, I'm still peeling from vacation. And it's, how many weeks has it been? Well, you know what? It's just been 2 weeks since I went on vacation, and I didn't start peeling until like almost a week after vacation, maybe like 4 days. But yeah, I always feel like I do a good job putting on sunscreen, and then I start to peel, and I'm like, maybe I didn't do a good job. I did buy this aloe lotion while I was in Aruba. Yeah, made in Aruba, world's finest aloe. It smells so good. It's called Aruba Aloe. In this video, I am reviewing my first ever solo trip. I'm also reviewing my first time on Virgin Voyages. As a person who's cruised, I feel like I've cruised a decent amount. I've been on 6 cruises in my adult life. I think the first one was when I was turning 21 because I remember I was on the boat and I had to make sure that they were going to let me drink. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But anyway, 6 cruises in my adult life, and this is my first Virgin Voyage cruise. Also my first solo cruise and my first group cruise ever with Melanin at Sea. I'm just going to review a few things about the cruise line as well as cruising solo, and then lastly on the group cruise itself. We'll start with the cruise line because I feel like that's the area where I have the most things to say. So we're going to start there. Of course I have notes. Who would I be if I didn't have a note? Just saying. First I'm going to talk about the negatives because that's what we're going to do. We're going to save our ice cream for last, okay? The things that I didn't like. So like I said, I've been on a total of 6 cruises. My first time with Virgin Voyages, I've cruised with Royal Caribbean and Carnival only. Cruised with both of them. I've cruised as a single person. I've cruised as a married person. I've cruised as a mom. You know, a little bit of everything. And overall, I'm just going to talk about the things that I didn't like about the ship. Should I start there or should I start with Virgin Voyages as a whole? Let's start with Virgin Voyages as a whole. So as a whole, the brand is fire. If you are looking for something modern, sleek, something that is up the alley of being party with at the same time as being classy, being just embodying, I feel like adultism. That's the word I just made up today. Just embodying being an adult, I feel like Virgin Voyages is for you. I feel that as an adult living in 2023, I am a millennial, just to let you know as well. I think that plays a little bit of a part of it because as a millennial, like I've seen a lot of change in my life. So because of that, I feel like that's why I can appreciate Virgin Voyages and what they're trying to do and bring to cruising. Now, my mother would say something different because she is not a millennial. She's a baby boomer and she has a completely different view on it. And she feels like the change is awful. However, I'm here for it. I liked seeing something different. I loved the branding about the ship. You know, just the red vibes. I obviously, like, I wanted to wear more red because I was there. Like, I've never been, neither Carnival or Royal Caribbean. Like, I felt like I wanted to wear a color scheme, and on this ship I did. I wanted to play up into it. It was great. I loved that about this cruise line. Like I said, I love the modernness of it. You definitely seen how modern the decor was, seeing how modern just the layout of the ship was, the things that they played into and like really hyped up. All of it was very modern vibes. So I really loved that about the ship. As they lay out of the ship, there were things that I didn't like, but I also feel like it was because I was used to cruising on Royal Caribbean or Carnival. The way the layout was, to me, it was hard for me to get the flow of. It was hard for me to understand. I feel like I didn't get the hang of it until like day 5 or 6. Whereas when I'm on a Royal Caribbean ship, they all have the same layout and vibe, and you can pretty much find what you're looking for if you just think back to what is normal to you as a cruiser. But so that's the only thing I feel like was the negative about the layout, is that a lot of it was different. It was more closed off. I feel like the areas were more tunneled in, and you had to walk through a lot of areas to get to main common areas. One of the major ones was the manor. You have to walk through the casino to get to the manor. Thought that was interesting. Another main area was the red room. You have to walk through a bar area to get to the red room. I feel like I understand what they were trying to go for. They were trying to go for a more open layout, whereas everything is available and accessible because it's adult only, you know, everyone's welcome here type of vibe. But at the same time, it was just confusing because to me, that's not how like cruises are normally set up. Next, I'm going to talk about the itinerary. It was fire. However, this boat was supposed to be, this ship was supposed to be their newest ship. And I think also in turn, it was a newer itinerary. And it was an itinerary I had never done before. I had never done any of the 5 places that I went to, which I thought was really awesome. And another reason why I wanted to book this trip. But like I said, it was supposed to be on one of their newer ships and it ended up not happening that way. I wasn't really hurt because it was new to me because I'd never been on Virgin before, but itinerary was amazing. I believe it's Southern Caribbean because it was Puerto Rico, Aruba, Curacao, Martinique, and St. Kitts. So they were 5 amazingly beautiful places, 4 amazingly beautiful islands, the Caribbean vibes, the temperature vibe, just, it was right up my alley. If I'm going on vacation, I want to go somewhere hot and sunny and with a pool. Like that's where I want to go. So these places were perfect for me. Some people like to vacation other places, like cold places. Just, it's not my vibe. It's not my vibe. It's not what I like to vacation for. I live in Maryland. I get enough cold. Okay. So because of that, I was really into this itinerary. And like I said, they were 4 islands I've never been to before. Next, the price. Really what got me are the things that are included in the price. So Wi-Fi is included and your specialty restaurants are included. Those are the 2 biggest things for inclusions. I believe your gratuities too. I don't think you have a choice on gratuities with Virgin. They're already all included, which to me is a perk because one, I know the people who are taking care of me are being taken care of as well because they're making sure that they get their gratuities. But then also it's just one less thing I have to worry about. I think it's more of for the cruise line, that aspect, but I still think it's definitely a plus because it's, like I said, it's one less thing I have to worry about as paying for out of pocket after the fact or whatever. Just add your gratuities in there. These people are serving you all week long or however long you're on the cruise, all 4 nights, not just cleaning your room, but also bringing you what you need, responding to you when you need help. And they are serving you, you know, so don't be afraid to give your gratuities. I feel like it should be a given. And I like the fact that they added that in. Also, along with the specialty restaurants, there are 5 specialty restaurants on each boat that they currently have, or each ship that Virgin Voyages currently has. I think it's 5. Razzle Dazzle, Pink Agave, Extra Virgin, Gumby. There's one more. The Wake. Okay. The Wake is the last one. Get it together, Nicole. Restaurants being included, top tier. We'll talk more about those later. And then the Wi-Fi being included. So I didn't have to worry about buying extra Wi-Fi to connect with my family. This was a solo trip for me. It ended up being that way. It did not start that way, but it ended up being that way and I don't regret it. I feel like it was something that I definitely needed. I needed a moment to chill. I needed a moment to be by myself. I needed a moment to not have anyone talking to me in a sense of needing something from me. So I was really excited about that aspect of going solo. Next, the cabins. I mean, all the ships are new. They currently have 3 ships. All 3 of them are fairly new. I think with 5 years old or less, maybe 6 years old or less. And they're beautiful and they're sleek and they're modern and they're less cluttered and they're open. Like they took the space out of the bathroom, just not gonna lie, out of the cabin bathroom and put it in the room. And I feel like that's more of a vibe because spend more time in the cabin than you're gonna spend in the bathroom of the cabin. If you know what I mean, you're gonna get into the shower, wash your face, brush your teeth, get on out, okay? You're gonna sleep in the room, you're gonna change your clothes in the room, you're gonna have room service in the room. You see what I'm saying? Like I'd rather the space be there and I definitely appreciate that. I had a sea view room It was perfect. I still got the vibe of the curtains opening up for me, and without the balcony that I probably wasn't going to use anyway. So and it ended up being a mistake that I got this room. I was supposed to have a balcony room. Not that I paid for a balcony, but originally I had asked for a balcony, and then wires got crossed with the travel agent that I used. And I ended up with a sea view, and I am so happy that I did. I freaking loved that room. I loved that room. It was perfect because like I really wasn't going to go out on the balcony. Like I knew this about myself. I knew this about myself. I wasn't going to go out on the balcony, so it was kind of a waste. But I still got the curtains opening in the morning was like the best vibe for me. Like it was honestly the best thing ever. Like laying in bed, pushing in the button for the curtains to open and the sun to come in. That was like the best part of my morning. It really was. So the cabin for me, top tier. I mean, I loved it. I loved everything about it. It was great. Like the bathroom was tiny, but it fit me. So it fit the things I needed it to fit. Like I had enough space. I was good. Back to the restaurants and the food. First, talking about the galley. So the galley is like the open eating area for everything. Every different type of food that you could probably think of is in the galley. Mine is like the specialty thing, kind of, sort of. So there was a Mexican type dish there, even though there's a Mexican restaurant. Was there Italian type things? Not really, but there was sushi, there were burgers, things on the grill, on the griddle as well. So like one day they had Indian in there, one day they had Mediterranean in there. They had a noodle bar, they had a taco bar, and then they had sweets and desserts. So that was amazing. And it was actually, it was like exciting for me to see it in person, because even watching the videos, it didn't really give me a scope of what the area looked like. So like being in there in person, like I thought that was really, and it was cool. It like satisfied my desire to be there, and to see it and to be in the galley and eat all the things. And that was great. Like I love that for me. Then like there's different places on the ship to eat as well. And then as far as the restaurants, they were all really good. I wouldn't rate my top restaurant, my number one, my fave, honestly, Razzle Dazzle. And people hate Razzle Dazzle. People are not here for Razzle Dazzle, but to be honest, it's because it's American style. Like it's literally what it is. It's an American style meal. Like you get chicken wings for appetizer. You can have chicken wings for appetizer. You can have chicken and waffles, or chicken and something. It was like some type of chicken and biscuit for your entree. You know, a little apple pie and ice cream thing for your dessert. Like it was American style. And like honestly, that was my favorite food. It was not and American style is not my favorite food. My favorite food is Mexican, but that food was on point. It was the only dinner I had where every course of the meal I loved. I loved all of it. It was delicious. So Razzle Dazzle was my first. I would say Pink Agave second, Excursion third, Wake, and then Gumbe. Gumbe would be my last, just because I'm not a big Korean barbecue fan. I don't know, like it's never been something that that intrigued me, or like, oh, I want to go to Korean barbecue, but it is good. It is good. And it was good. They were all, I'm trying to think if I had something that I absolutely didn't like and didn't finish. And there isn't anything. I had things that I was too full to finish, but there wasn't anything that I absolutely didn't like that I didn't finish. So activities. So this, I feel like you can only compare from cruise to cruise, because if you go on a vacation at a all-inclusive, you're not going to have the same types of activities as you do if you go on vacation on a cruise. Like it's just two different things, because on a cruise you're in a contained space, and all-inclusive you're not. So I feel like it's different. So I have to compare cruise to cruise, and comparing them, there was always something to do. And even more so, I'm a very now I have a very fitness oriented life, and I loved that about this cruise and this cruise line, that there were plenty of fitness activities, classes, things that you could try out fitness wise on this ship, and I was here for it. I was definitely here for it. I tried yoga for the first time on this cruise, and I loved it. It was such a great experience. It was hard, and it was great. It was just great. So activity wise, there was tons of activities, tons of things to do. And then if you didn't want to do anything, you weren't bothered. There were places where nothing was going on, and you could literally just sit and chill, listen to music, listen to your own thoughts. I read 3 books on this trip. 3 books. I read 3 books in 7 days. Like, come on. I have never And it was a great time. It was a great time. I loved every second of it. And I still had fun and I still did things and saw things and ate all the things. So just food was the core, you know, food, reading, relaxation. That's vacation for me. Honestly, vacation for me. So that's how I felt about that. Now about this being my first solo cruise as well as my first group cruise. First, touching on the solo thing, I feel like it definitely takes a certain type of person to cruise solo, to do anything solo. I think that a lot of people have a hard time sitting with themselves, and it's evident in sometimes conversation. People are in awe that you can go places by yourself, do things by yourself, and they'll be like, oh wow, like I could never. And that's fine. I feel like it's not for everybody to be able to do things alone. And I feel like it's necessary for a certain type of person. And I feel like that's me, that type of person, as a single mom, as a person who I'm trying to better my life. I'm trying to upgrade my life, upgrade my children's life, really just move into a spot where I want to be, my dreams and aspirations are. So because of that, I work very hard. I work hard, and I'm not afraid to work hard, and I have a lot going on. I have a lot on me. So because of that, I needed this time to just be away and separate and not do anything, and not do anything, but just be by myself. So I feel like that is the type of thing that like solo cruising is for. But then I feel like there's also different types of people too, because there's just some people who really enjoy being by themselves, who, you know, just want to go and do things and be alone and not speak to anyone. So there's that too. But for me, that's the type of person that I am. I did enjoy going on this cruise solo. However, I don't think I would do it again by myself. Just gonna be honest. I don't think I will. It has nothing to do with feeling safe. It has everything to do with the vibe of the ship, to be honest, and not in a negative way. This ship is very exciting, fun, sexy, just on a good edge. Like everything about it is so good. And to me, like that, I would want to share that with someone. So because of that, I could see myself, if I did it again, I could see myself getting into this lonely phase. Like I could feel it. Even being on the ship this time, I almost was there, except for I was on a group cruise. So any time that I felt like I might become a hermit and just stay in my cabin, there was always someone there that I could meet up with and say, oh hey, like what are you doing? Well, this is what I'm doing, let's go do this together, type thing. So I think the group cruise kind of saved me. But I still think cruising solo or going anywhere solo has its perks and it has its ups. So then now, lastly, I want to talk about the group cruise as a whole. So I went with the group called Melanin at Sea, hosted by Rich and Jazzy, a Rich and Jazzy Life, and Addie and Terry, couples that decided to do group cruises basically. And I saw them when they started doing group cruises, and I was like, man, I would really like to do a group cruise. I would really like to do it. And then when they came up with this cruise, I was like, oh, I've got to do that one, because I wanted to go on Virgin and it was going to be adults only, and I wanted to go on a group cruise with them. So I was just like, yeah, let's go. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So this, honestly, I think it was great. It was amazing. And yes, I would go again. It was such a good time. And meeting them and then meeting people in a group. I think going on a group cruise is the best way for someone who may be prone to loneliness to not be wrapped up and become a hermit, is to go on a group cruise solo. And it's because you can always find a friend and find someone to sit with or to chill with or have dinner with or whatever. And I did that. I was make friends, and I think that was great. I think that's a great adult activity, because I think adults have trouble making friends more than kids do. But because we're just so stuck in our ways, and we're so like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do me. I don't need to talk to anybody else. But you kind of do, because we do need each other sometimes. So overall, I think the group cruise experience was great. Meeting Addie and Jazz was like, it was like top tier for me. Like, I know that they probably don't think of themselves as like celebrities, but they were just people who I wanted to meet. Like I knew I needed to meet them. I needed to talk to them. I needed to have conversation with them. And I did. And they did not disappoint. They're exactly who they are on camera, on YouTube. I mean, granted, like, just because you don't see the downs of people's lives doesn't mean they're not real when you do see them. So, and they were real. They were cool people, and they, you know, they talked when they wanted to. They chilled when they wanted to. That was cool too. Like it wasn't fake and phony. Like you knew that this was their group cruise, right? Like they had things planned. They had boom, boom, boom. They had activities. They even had a day where there was no activities, where you could just completely be by yourself if you wanted to. And that was great too. Like it was great for them as well. It was great for me because I got to do something on an island I'd never been to and see something amazing. They were amazing people. And then like to wrap it all up with the party, I feel like the party at the end of the week was just amazingly epic. Oh my god, it was literally the last night a party, their brown cocktail party. What is it called? Melanin cocktail party, I think they call it. And it was dope. Like it was really cool. Like there was a moment where everybody was just sitting around talking, vibing, just like kind of saying their goodbyes, but not really, because it was the last night, you know, the last time we would be together on this trip. So that was cool. And then we all came together and we talked and we danced and we laughed and we chilled, and that was amazing as well. So overall, like I would say 10 out of 10 for group cruise experience. I definitely think it's, you know, it was the melanin for me. It was Melanin at Sea for me, like to go with people that I knew were like me and, you know, out to vibe, just like I was out to vibe, out to meet people, just like I was out to meet people. Like that was great. And to also meet travelers and to see how they travel and to see what they do for fun and to see how they relax and enjoy themselves and unwind. And then the activities too, like they planned things that we might not have seen if we didn't go, you know, like, and they had like ins and outs of the places that we were going and more information about them, and you could like pick and choose, decide if you wanted to do it and decide if you didn't. So that was cool too. So all in all, it was good. It was a good vibe. I would say everything wasn't amazing. Okay, the one thing I feel like it's realistic to have something that you feel negative about. It's definitely realistic. I mean, of course you can have a great time and not feel negative about nothing, but are you being honest with yourself, right? So the one thing I have a negative thing to say about, had an excursion in St. Kitts. Yes, St. Kitts. We did this excursion with this, with a travel, it was like a, what's the word? Say souvenir, but that's not it. Traveler, that's not it. And who's visiting. There's a word for this and I can't think of it. But anyway, they took us on like buses and we went to parts of the island. They had a travel guide like talking to us the whole time, telling us about the island. One of the most beautiful experiences that I had on this trip, I had on this tour. Tourist, that's the word. It was a tourist guide. Like we were tourists and it was a tourist group. Is that right? I don't know. Anyway, but there was a point where they took us like to this high point, like up into the mountains, and you can see both seas. You can see the Atlantic Ocean on one side and you see the Caribbean Sea on the other side. And it was so beautiful and it was so amazing. And I said, to me, that was like a God moment, you know, like a moment where you look and you see, wow, like God really created this earth and it is freaking beautiful. And I'm just so blessed to be able to see it. But then coming down off of that, we went to the beach and we went to a bar on the beach that was completely unprepared for 20 to 25 people to come to it. Now there were multiple bars on the beach, but each of our group was kind of spread up out of them. I don't know how many bars on the beach it was. I don't know how many people exactly were at each bar, but I think ours had about 25 to 30 people at it. And these people they just were not prepared. Now, granted, they said something happened. There was some type of communication where they got the communication that we would be there the day before we came. So I think we were there on a Friday and they thought we were supposed to come on a Thursday. So then on Friday, they were unprepared. They didn't have staff. They didn't have materials or the ingredients to make all the dishes and stuff like that. So that sucked because it's mainly sucked because I was hungry. I'm just gonna put it out there, you know, a moment of hangry. I ended up having to get like some chips and popcorn because I didn't have time to order food. We were only at the beach for a certain amount of time. And like I said, the bar was understaffed. So there was one bartender and one cook for 25 people all trying to order. And I just said, forget it at one point. I ended up ordering like 3 beers, which It was a really good beer. Like, I don't even like beer like that, and here I was drinking beer. But it was really good. It was just refreshing and not nasty. Ordered some beers and I just sat and I read, and that's another reason why I got through so many books, because that one day I read like a book in that day. Because, and the tour part was great. We went to like a rum distillery portion on the tour. That was great. But I just think, I don't know, like, I just think that the company wasn't prepared for us as such a large group, even though I'm sure that they guaranteed our guides that they were. I just don't think they were prepared. So that's nothing on Melanin At Sea as a group, but that is something that I think of when I think of the negative of a group cruise. That sometimes when you're going into spaces that really don't know, oh, how much of a number it is, and then how to accommodate for this number, and how to still give the same feel that you would to 10 people that you can give to 110 people, then that's when it comes into a factor. And I think that that's a negative thing that I think of when I think of my group cruise, that last day wasn't the best. I would say it was like a 5 out of a 10, you know? But it ended with the party, and the party was a 10 out of a 10. So overall, I would do a group cruise again. They do a lot of family group cruises, mainly, like I said, this was their first adult only group cruise, which I still think is cool. I don't know if I would do a family one. I guess so. I honestly don't know. But this one was the one that I was mostly attracted to, like, as soon as it came out. And like I said, I've been watching their group cruises since they started them. So it was really exciting to see them in person, and to see them react in person, and to know that they, you know, they're, you know, cool people, normal moms, just like I'm a normal mom, you know, like, and out here living their best lives and trying to just be black and beautiful queens, you know. And I was just happy to meet them. Honestly, I was. So that's all I have to say about this group cruise and my first time on Virgin Voyages. Overall, it was great. I would go on Virgin again. I just don't think I would do it alone again. I don't think I would do that, but it was a great time. I think solo vacationing for me, and I'm going to say this for me, I've decided taking a whole solo vacation is extreme. I definitely benefited from it, but I don't think I'll need it again in the future. I think that I can figure out something else if I need some time away. So for me, but at the same time, like, people who go on solo trips, like, it's amazing. You go, girl. You do it. You go on that trip by yourself. You see what it's like. Enjoy it, especially if no one is trying to go with you. If you're trying to go somewhere that is your bucket list place, something that is like, I want to do this so bad, it's in the fiber of my being, do it. Don't be afraid of doing it alone, because at the end of the week, I wasn't alone. I made friends and I had a great time. So that's it. That's it for this video, guys. If you want to see more travel things, I have a travel playlist on my channel, and you can check it out here on the screen. I also did some vlogging while I was on this trip, so I will share that as well on my channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.